Limits. Here we're doing episode 3 and we're talking about Saudi Arabia's race and what it brought for this week.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I know, feels like a long time since we've spoken properly about a race. As we know what happened in Bahrain, Ferrari won 2, and then we move to the Friday. I don't like this Friday media sessions. I'm getting far too confused of the things. Yeah, for me it's not. Yeah, I like the Thursday, watching them come in, get settled, speak about it. I'm watching the F1 show, and then Friday morning, practice 1. That's what I like.
It feels more like your weekend's kind of set up, like you know what you're doing Thursday, you know what you're doing Friday, you know what you're doing Saturday, you know what you're doing Sunday. And now you're a bit like, you're having to check timings, who's doing what, who's going where. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it feels a bit stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Even for us just watching, it feels a bit stressed. And I mean, they're already there on a Thursday.
I know.
Yeah.
Wednesday, last week, it just feels like dead rushed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everything that's trying to be happened, they're trying to do everything in a short space of time, when it used to be more spread out, it used to be more chilled. Like everybody took their time a bit more. It used to be more focused on, and now it feels like it's kind of been brushed past. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also, you know what I don't like? Those interviews from, like, yesterday, I think it was Ocon and Verstappen, where Natalie Pinkham just runs with them to the pit lane, like, no, not even the pit lane, like the starting grid.
There's too many drivers on the when they do the interviews. There's like the press conference. The Thursday was press conference, so you used to get 2. The driver pairings, there's like so many. There's like 4 isn't now in a session?
5, isn't there?
5.
Is it 5?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's getting far too confusing because they've only got a little chance to speak about what actually happened. But yeah. So we'll see if it works. Some people like them, some people don't. So only time will tell.
Yeah.
That moves us
But
on.
I mean, I already heard some drivers say they want it back to Thursday.
Probably, yeah. Because they're not rushed. They are not rushing around, because obviously this weekend was so different. So what was it? Friday, obviously there was an incident that occurred, and then what was it? They cut short of, it was FP2 was late, and then they were in that meeting for how many hours after to discuss the said situation that occurred. So
time in the morning.
Yeah, it was what was it, 2 a.m. in Saudi Arabia? Then they had to get up, and so I think it just feels a little bit rushed. Unfortunately, there was unforeseen circumstances over the weekend, but in hindsight, it could be a bit more, less rushed.
Yeah.
More spread out, more time taken on it, and I feel like I think the drivers, as much as obviously the drivers, I know a lot of them don't actually like doing media. I feel like obviously they know it's kind of a compulsory. They'd rather do it in a way that's less stressed out than being so packed up with all weekend. At least then they can get their media done on the Thursday and then just focus on driving. Now it feels like it's a bit
all over the place.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they decide to do.
So that brings us on to FP1, FP2, FP3. We'll do it all in one. Charles Leclerc, disgust in that Ferrari. What was it? He topped that leaderboard, what was it, 3 times?
Honestly, he's on fire. I can't lie, the Ferraris are incredible.
That is a rocket ship, is it?
Literally. Well, they had that before, and it actually legitimately was a rocket ship, remember?
Well.
Yeah, P1, Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoy it. Now it's not well, last season it was very easy to okay, I mean, Max, let's go. And this season it's more enjoyable to have these two together in the front row.
It feels less. I think it's just because we know how incredible Lewis is. And I'm not saying that Charles isn't as good as Lewis, even though obviously there's statistics and all sorts. But I feel like for Max fans, it's easier to see Leclerc up there than Hamilton.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, in the last 2 races, if that would have been Max and Lewis, one of them would have been in the war.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, because yesterday, even it's just ridiculous because everyone's so close together. But even yesterday, they both locked up at exactly the same time, and they had their foot on the brake like mad. Literally, it was so mad. You could see the smoke, but the reaction time from Leclerc was slightly better. But then he's pushing Max because they've raced since. Obviously, we all saw that video of them karting many years ago. So that has obviously come back, and it's literally like round 2 of them karting, because when I was listening yesterday, Jenson Button was even saying it's like watching karts again, like it's that exciting because it's so close between everyone.
I mean, even Ocon and Alonso, that was so amazing to watch.
I know.
Just to see 2 actual teammates fighting, and obviously nothing came of it. There was no crashes. There was no collisions. It was just hard racing. It was just safe racing. I think that's what the new spec of cars have brought. If that happened last year, there would have been a front wing off.
Yeah.
There would have been a puncture. There would have been maybe a scrape with the barrier or something like that. And I feel like last year compared to this year, last year just had kind of like a bit of a negative overall. As incredible as the racing was last year, a lot of it was just it was almost made up. It was almost like the team would have decided last year who was going to be in front. And I know eventually that they said Ocon hold position, but the fact that they let it go for so long, last year it would have been nothing like that.
Well, they spoke to Otmar, didn't they? And they were like, Otmar, like, are you telling your guys to like slow down or do something? And I did understand at one point they weren't really helping each other because they kind of give Valtteri a bit of a toe. But then I thought, and then Otmar was just like, we're going to let them race. And then like, what was it? How many laps later? They said, right, Ocon, like hold a position now because like Valtteri is behind. Like you've got to keep going like where you are. So yeah, it was just so good. And it was a shame that Alonso had to obviously retire the car. But yeah. It was good. Even like qualifying is more excited because you've got the mid-bunch pack is so good. But so I had big plans for Aston Martin this year. And I understand that Seb's not there, but what is with that car? It's just something's not giving. Even you've got Lance Stroll, who's obviously very good at what he does, and Seb, unfortunately, he has COVID. So even Nico, like, he knows. And I just don't understand with that car, something has to give. I'm so confused. How
is it that bad? I'm sorry.
I don't understand. That's what I mean. I had big plans. Their budget must be one of the biggest it's got to be. Has to be one of the biggest. The amount of money they must pump in with Aston Martin, like, it must be mad. And I just think Haas.
Yeah. I mean, Haas are just incredible at the moment compared to where they were this time last season. Like the development, I think we all knew that they'd bring a better car, but I don't think anybody thought it would be that much better. And K-Mag, the fact that he's hopped into that car after a year, after not knowing hardly any testing, and he's managed to pull it through.
Even when Mick went off yesterday, I thought Mick would get into Q3. Like, I was that like desperate. I was thinking Mick is going to get into Q3 and he's going to be in the top 10. He could have been. He would have definitely beaten George Russell by a mile if he got through.
I just think, what could have Nikita done in that car? I think we could have seen Nikita as a driver come through. I think we could have seen him. Just a bit of a shame, really. But
just happy KMX though.
Yeah, I am. Everyone loves KMX.
Yeah. Honestly, it was just like seeing their reaction of every time they go out is insane. Like, we've never seen that before from Haas. Obviously a fair few years ago, but now obviously it's so different. But like, I just can't believe how many, even like Guan Yu Zhou, like how good, like just fitting straight in. Alex Albon, unfortunately, is so good, and he did so good in testing, and then the first race he did so well in qualifying, and then unfortunately that Williams is not obviously delivering what it wanted, but neither is the Aston Martin, but neither is McLaren. So you've got three big teams struggling.
I mean, just look at the engine.
They're almost, yeah, they are all Mercedes. But this is what I mean. I don't understand how they're all Mercedes, but then you've got Lewis, well, yesterday, unfortunately, in 10th, and then you've got George, who is pushing that car to every single limit, but is all right on it, because obviously they've still got those porpoising issues, which you can clearly see, but in George's car, it's a lot less. I can't fathom. It has to be a reliability issue with that car so far.
I mean, maybe they just developed in the wrong direction. I mean, look at the McLarens. I was like, I'm shocked at how slow those cars are.
I was, I didn't even want to think about it. It was when that car rolled out the garage at Bahrain, and we all knew that something would be up. We all knew it wouldn't be a four-way kind of shot for the championship. I think now we kind of know it's just Ferrari and Red Bull, and then I think maybe race 4, 5, I think Mercedes will then enter.
Yeah, they will enter. I mean, let's not be delusional. Of course, they will find the solutions for their problems, and they will. I think one car will,
and I think one car is a long way off. Like when Bahrain happened, they were just so lucky that the Red Bulls retired the car, because they'd be far down the pecking order. And it's the same in testing, everything along them lines. It's exactly the same. So it's just very do you know when you just think it's so good because everyone's together, but then you want some separation as well, but then you think you don't want it just be a two like races it always has been between obviously Mercedes and Red Bull. Now somebody's entered that is new-ish.
Yeah.
Ferrari have come to the forefront, which the car's insane. There's no two ways about it. That's all I'm going to say.
The thing is with the Mercedes also, I don't really get how the two cars, I mean, they're the same cars. How can they be so different?
The setup, it has to be the setup, because I don't understand. In one car, there was so much porpoising, then the other, there's hardly any, but obviously they've toned that down now, so you can't really see it. But obviously the cars are so big, the tyres aren't helping, because they must having to somehow drag the car down to make it bounce. I can't work it out.
But I mean, just try the other setup then.
Yeah.
I mean, they clearly see the differences, so why not just try the other setup? I don't get it.
Do you remember when they swapped chassis last season? Why don't they just do that for one? Because essentially you're still in test mode for the first few races. Why don't you just swap the chassis, see how you get along, and then you'll work out if it's which car. Like, you'd easily work that one out.
Yeah.
It just makes maybe it's just the overall build of the car is just more suited to George. I know it's not Hamilton's ability, and I think we all know that. We all know that Hamilton is still very much in his top game, but it might just be down to the overall kind of design of the car and whether it needs to be rethinked about whether it to suit both drivers. It's almost like we know that the Red Bull last year was very suited to Max. And I don't think the Mercedes have done it intentionally for it to be maybe more suited to George, or maybe he's just found a way to kind of work with the car a little bit better than what Lewis has managed to.
We'll see. I'm pretty sure Lewis will get along with the car in further when the season proceeds further, because I mean he is Lewis Hamilton. We can't forget that.
It's going to be a waiting game, isn't it? So we've got 2-week wait now, haven't we, till Australia? So there'll be many there'll be like the first set of upgrades will come like already, like you know what's coming. So it's just a waiting game, but who knows? I'm just not a fan of those new tyres. I just don't like them.
I don't like how slow the pit stops are because they're so varied. It's unbelievable. Like you'll have some with a 3.9 and some with a 2.9, and both are good. And you're like, well, last year if you had someone with a 1.9 and someone with a 2.9, one's good and one's bad. Do you know what I mean?
I know when they were out yesterday, it was like 4.4 and then 2.5. I was thinking, what the hell is going on here?
That used to be like having a 10-second penalty in the pits that long. That'd scrap your whole race.
I know.
Ugh.
What does everybody think to the Saudi circuit though? Like, obviously, there's Mick went off. There's been like loads of incidents that have happened. Like, because obviously Mick crashed there last year, and then there's just like various things have happened on that track. Obviously, everybody says it's dead high speed, but so is Azerbaijan. Like, that is just so quick. So, yeah.
I love it, but
You love it.
it's too dangerous.
It's quite dangerous. It's so tight. You are literally kissing the wall.
It's got really good racing, but at the same time, there's so many different points where you're like, and that, as well as that DRS zone that we saw Charles and Lewis fighting to not get to yesterday. It's like, it's almost inevitable, the overtakes and where they're going to happen. Like, say if you overtake on that back DRS and then you overtake, and then you almost know that there's just going to be a re-overtake again because the person behind will get DRS again. So you're a bit like, it's kind of in that first corner, you've got a good overtaking spot. But besides that, I mean, there's a lot of good overtaking places, but a lot of times where it can just be brought back again because there's, 3 DRS sections?
Yeah, so down the straight yesterday, like, you could just see it coming. They'd brake, they'd turn into the corner, and you think, right, they're carrying on. And then next thing you know, like, Max Scholl, like, you just didn't know what was coming. Like, I felt so bad for Sergio yesterday. So bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if he wait one lap, he'd still lead the race because obviously it's technically a free pit stop, isn't it? Which is very
interesting. He got mugged by Ferrari, I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah, Charles called it a dummy call.
I think it's so bad. Like, I just felt I was hot. Yeah, but they didn't win. That's the whole point. Like, they didn't get as close as they wanted to because of it. Which is just sad. Yeah. I know.
As sad as I was, I think you could have called it.
Yeah.
It really, I was upset, but at the same time I was laughing a little bit because I was like, I'm sorry, how did Red Bull not see that?
Yeah, I know.
Not see that.
That's the thing, like, they're usually on it with the mind games and the strategic stuff. So what happened?
They got absolutely played. Sorry. Watch, but it was a little bit funny. Even with going back to how the track is, going back to Formula 2, if you look at that, it was like every lap, every time there was a safety car, the safety car would go in, and then you'd have 2 laps, safety car would be back out, and it's like, it's just not right. Okay, fair enough. Formula 1 racing, there wasn't as much safety cars as what there was last year. Like, it was a crazy race last year.
Yeah.
Last year was annoying. With 3 standing restarts.
But Formula 2, I just don't think it's a track for anybody, for any drivers under Formula 1, because the Formula 2 races are carnage.
They are. As soon as they set off, it's like bang bang. It's like bang bang bang. It's literally bumper cars at times.
Yeah. Absolutely carnage.
Because they just put it's literally pedal to the floor and they're off. They're like, they don't care. They just think we need to win more races than I'll be getting to F1. That's what they think. I know.
Well, but they won't be winning races if they go into the wall and smash their cars up.
I know. I know. What's good though? Like,
what do we think of Latifi crashing again? What was that?
Crash when the race gets good. I'm sorry. Why does he crash when the race gets good?
I don't even know what happened. There wasn't any curb. There was nothing. He just went into the wall.
Might just be getting paid to just crash when the race gets good. Alex as well, and I was like,
I was a bit semi-fuming at that because I was thinking, but Alex could have easily got in front of him if he made the apex right, if he did it right, but he didn't. So I think they've got a lot to learn in that Williams for some reason. I think Albon was definitely like the best choice, like by a mile. And obviously, like he did so well in testing, he's done so well in qualifying and everything. And I don't know about Nicholas, like he just has kind of dropped off a little bit.
Yeah.
Which we thought he wouldn't do, but yeah.
I mean, I think Alex is able to develop that car.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you have to think where he's been, and like he's obviously he's helped Yuki and other Red Bull drivers and stuff. So yeah. And the amount of times he spent in the simulator, he'll know every track inch by inch. So I think it's a waiting game. We are only in race 2, and it is getting quite tasty already.
yeah.
I did enjoy yesterday. I did enjoy yesterday. At the end, it was great.
It was. It really was. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the respectful racing. I just have to say it again. I'm very sorry. I like it. It's not like I have to hold my breath because I know, okay, no, not again, not again, not again, not again.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm also very curious about the situation between Charles and Carlos. Because as the season proceeds, I don't think it will be like, I don't know how you say it in English, like it will be all nice. They won't be nice guys the whole season if they're both in a competitive car.
Well, yesterday we heard Carlos like complain a lot, didn't he? So I think he's thinking, why is Max in between us? Like, why am I not up there already? So I think it'll be a battle between Charles and Max, and another battle between Sainz and Charles. Like, it's just gonna go either way. It's as best buddies as they are, and they'll tell everyone that there's gonna be a point where it's gonna come, like push comes to shove. Like, I don't know, not as bad as obviously Nico and Hamilton, but yeah, it might be one of them where it could be one wins and one doesn't. And it might be so close. No one knows.
Yeah.
Look back to last week. Carlos was not a happy guy.
He's had he's had issues with that car, unlike Charles. So is Charles the number 1 driver? Well, he must be, because I thought
he is the golden kid.
That's what I mean. I thought they were both the same pecking order, but they're clearly not.
He's the kid
I don't think they are.
Who's the kid with the contract? It's Charles.
Yeah.
But they said that Carlos is going to sign one.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Is what it is. I mean,
if we're honest, every racing team has like the golden child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I can't think of any instance where there is. Alpha. Well, you could say Valtteri, but who's bringing in a lot of the money?
Correct. But then you also look at, I don't know, Seb and Lance Stroll. It's got to be Stroll, isn't it, for his father? But then I think the only one that isn't is probably Haas and Schumacher, because now it's obviously K-Mag's coming back in. Like that one is level.
Yeah, it is. Mick will eventually leave. I mean, he has his future set out for him.
Of course, he either goes to Alfa Romeo for a year or two, and then he goes to Ferrari, or straight into Ferrari when Charles or like Carlos ever decide to leave. I think Charles will be there for a long time. But
I think Carlos will eventually move to Mercedes.
No, I don't think so. He's been Red Bull. I don't think so.
Oh yeah, well. I still have my dream of Pierre in a Mercedes. I know that will not happen. I know it. Don't look at me like I'm crazy.
That will
not. I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, where will he go?
I don't know.
For the poor guy.
Last year, I loved George last year, but this year new leaf, new turn, and I'm a bit like, not as
That's
bothered.
exactly what Ellie just said to me before we started.
Before we started, I exactly said the same thing. I was like, Mr. Saturday was Mr. Saturday. And even when I was watching Ted's notebook, Ted has decided not to call him Mr. Saturday anymore because it doesn't work out in a Mercedes, because it should be only in a Williams because of how bad that car was.
That's the thing. Well, George is now, it's expected for him to be into Q3, so it's...
That's what I mean. He's not bothered by it. And that's the frustrating thing for me. Like, I think he's changed for me. And yeah, I'm not a fan at this current stage. Sorry, George.
Even his Instagram, it feels more, I'm a Mercedes driver now.
He's always
just so proud of himself.
I know he's proud of himself, but I'm so proud of him for how far he's come. But now, I don't know. I just feel like he's fallen into such bad luck with the Mercedes being how it is this year. I mean, they'll sort that out. Give it 2 races, but I feel like we've just got to see the full potential of George by the end of the season. He'll probably maybe have a championship one day. Is what it is.
I mean, he is the only thing that makes Mercedes that bit
better.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously the race, we get to see proper racing now, which is exciting. So yeah, it just takes us nicely on to Melbourne, 2-week break, get that Hascar and Mick Schumacher back into full fitness. And
yeah.
Can we just
Q3 Mick?
No, Danny Ricciardo points. I cannot think about
I don't think they'll get many points for ages.
Oh,
I don't care. I just want him to have a nice home race. He hasn't had it for so long, and I can't bear having said Danny Rick any longer.
No, I know. I didn't even hear him speak over the weekend. Like, he probably just paid the fine because he didn't want to speak to media. Honestly, I can't even cope.
It's so heartbreaking.
I don't understand that car. As much as we like the Google Chrome wheels, it's not the car of what everyone wanted.
I couldn't care less about those wheel covers if they had the pace.
They do look nice, though. That's what I'm going to say.
They do look nice. They are very attractive wheel covers, I can't lie.
I mean, they look nice. And I still think that car is beautiful, even if some people have a different opinion. I think it's a beautiful car.
Yeah. I like that car a lot.
So yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see
what
Australia brings in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have changes in the circuit, don't we? They made a few changes.
No,
I am.
I'm not getting up at 6 o'clock though.
Worst thing is I can't even actually watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it on live timing because I'm in Portugal. So.
Oh yeah.
Watch it with Sky Go.
I can't. It doesn't do it abroad.
No.
It does, babes. I moved to Austria and I still watch it. I watched it yesterday with Sky Go.
It doesn't work.
Mine don't work.
Maybe because you're not in the European Union. But that does not have anything to do with Sky.
It goes from country.
I don't know what it'll be from. It's annoying. It's annoying. Well, same for BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
When I lived abroad, it didn't work. So yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I'm not getting out of bed at the crack of dawn to watch FP3 at 5 a.m. as much as I'd love to. I can't.
I might watch it with a cup of tea in hand on the beach.
I only get up to watch qualifying and then I watch the race, but that's it.
I'm just gonna have to arise early, to be fair. I mean, Vanessa, isn't it an hour later for you? So it's what, 7, the race start?
7, yeah, it's 7. I mean, I'm gonna get up, get a cup of tea, and then go back to bed and watch it in bed.
Nice. I respect
that. Maybe have
a
sleep afterwards. It's finished at 9. I can still go back to sleep after that.
I'm not too sure what Jack would think if I got him awake at 6 o'clock to watch the Australian Grand Prix. I know what my answer is already, so I'm gonna give that a miss.
I mean, I'll keep you all updated.
Thank you. Just voice note me through and I'll listen to them all after.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pay the thing every month on Formula One for like advanced timing, so I get to see like all the time.
Ooh.
I tell you now, it's good. I'm
Is
watching it on the TV, and I'll click 2 different things. So you can see like when they accelerate, when they brake, where they're on the track, the difference when it gets closer.
Really?
So you know, it's the best. I can't lie, it's the best. What, £2.29 a month I've ever spent.
That sounds exciting.
That sounds exciting. Send us a
Because
link.
you can hear all the commentary as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, worth investing. Like when I went to Silverstone, I could see where they were on the track. Because when you go to a live race, it's actually really hard to know what's going on.
Oh, that's amazing. But yeah, you'll have to send some screenshots.
For everybody else, so I let out like a squeal, and then you've got all these hammy fans around me, and they were all like, didn't know what was going off while I was squealing, because obviously everybody doesn't know because we were on the side of the track. And then it got announced, oh yeah, Max Verstappen's in the barrier, and then everybody was happy and I was sat there crying. That was sad. It's worth investing in.
Okay, you'll have to send us screenshots of the Australian one, or I might as well get it myself, and then I'll be in bed looking at it sneakily. Yeah.
Well, shall we wrap it up for this week?
I know, we'll be back next week. Well, 2 weeks time. 2 weeks time for the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. So excited! Woohoo! But yeah, we'll see you all then, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we are behind track limits. Bye.
Bye.